Ms. Kerner?
Yes, my lady.
Thank you.
And if I may report back, the recording is really faint, but we will be able, should it be necessary, to correct it with a double recording. But what we have also since, what we have done was to move a microphone to the vicinity of the door. That would, I believe, address that issue.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, my lady. Colonel, just before the adjournment, you explained the basis why you testified that the shots were fired first and then it was the cricket bat hitting the door. And you specifically referred to the crack that ran down and into the hole and then down at a different place.
That's correct, my lady. And if I just quickly draw this little diagram here on this piece of paper to show you what I'm referring to. If you look at the bullet hole on the furthest to the right, and I hope it's visible from there, but there's a crack coming into the bullet hole, or a piece of wood that broke, and the breakage was into the bullet hole on the right hand side of the bullet hole. And then the crack goes out on the left hand side of the bullet hole. And that is why I said the bullet hole was there before the panel was broken. Because if it was the other way around, the crack would have been in a straight line. Because it happened like this because of the bullet hole, that the crack going down initiated in a different position.
And I think that once you've done the rough sketch, but I think it should go in as an exhibit, otherwise the record would reflect a piece of paper. My lady, maybe if we mark it as exhibit Y, we will see that copies be made. It can be handed up.
Exhibit?
Z, my lady.
Z, yes.
Colonel, you can make. I can tell you that the expert on behalf of the defence fully agrees. He says that one of the many features that will show convincingly that it was first the shooting and then the hitting with the bat and the breaking of the door. That would be your evidence as well.
That specific crack, yes, was after the firing of the bullets took place.
I'm sorry to go back to some extent, and it was just because the recording was really faint, because you moved away. Tell me if I fairly summarize some of your evidence. Your evidence was that you're of the view that you can replicate the cricket bat marks on the door when standing, but your objection to that would be that you did not deem that to be the expected and natural position.
That's correct, my lady. That's what I said.
And I'm fortunately not female, so I can ask you just to draw a comparison between the physique of the accused and you. What is your length?
As I said earlier, I'm 1.79 meters tall, my lady.
And your weight?
Fortunately, I'm not a lady, so I do not weigh myself often, my lady. But I expect it to be around about 90, 95, maybe 96 kilograms.
Yeah. Will you agree you have a very different physique to that of the accused?
Indeed, my lady. As I look at him, he's a bit taller than me, and he's got a little bit less weight carrying around with him.
Now, Colonel, I see in the statement that we have in our possession by Lieutenant Colonel Lenong. I see the wooden splinters of the door in photos 6 and 7. I would just ask the State's assistance. I'm not too sure that those photographs were handed in as exhibits as well. It may perhaps be on Lady, what I propose with the undertaking again that I will show, it's just to show a photo, and I will show it to the court, and we will see that copies be made and it be officially handed up, just not to waste time. It's not about this statement, it's just for the two photos, if you would not care to look at that. And you'll see a lab number there that will maybe assist you. Because I was asking you earlier about the whereabouts of the missing pieces. And there we can see them. You see that?
I see there's pieces of wood there, yes, my lady.
Would you care just to hand it to the court to be seen? We will see that an exhibit, it would be AA. We will make copies of that. Okay. Of two photos in Colonel Lenong's statement dealing with the pieces or the splinters. But my understanding of your evidence is that you did not have access to that.
No, my lady, this is the first time that I see these pictures. It's the first time I see the splinters or the pieces of wood, call it splinters, whatever.
Colonel Lenong, where is he stationed?
He's also working at the Forensic Science Laboratory. He's, however, in a different section. He's working in the trace analysis section. It's also part of this bigger scientific analysis section, but we do different subsections.
And it must be just unfortunate that you did not get those pieces, because my understanding it would have assisted.
Well, as I said, it's the first time that I see it now in this picture. I did not speak to Mr. Lenong regarding his analysis, so I do not have any knowledge about what he received.
And you also said that you asked about the whereabouts, but could not get any answer that would cast light on this.
Yes, but I must state that I did not speak to Mr. Lenong because I did not know that he might be a source of information.
I want to, if I may ask the State's assistance on the photos, to go to photo 480. Not that album, it's photo 480. It's part of your report.
That's correct, my lady.
You have the photo there in front of you?
Yes, I do have.
We just wait that it goes on screen. What do you see on that photo?
My lady, on this photo, I see the door. I see the markers on the door, the cricket bat, the angle I suspected to be, or that I matched to the door with, as well as I think this was Mr. Mangena.
You can go on.
Oh, there's some pieces of wood next to that.
You see the pieces of wood?
I see it now, yes, my lady.
So you had them?
No, I didn't have them.
Well, you're not there at the scene.
I was here at the scene. I didn't pay attention to that. And I actually didn't see it. I must have overlooked it, my lady.
But it's right next to the door.
Yeah, it's not next to the door. You can see there's the door is standing against some shelves. And if I look at this picture, it seems like it's between the shelves. At the time of my investigation, I did not see them, my lady.
Well, let us look at this on this photo. We know that you assisted in assembling the door.
That's correct, my lady.
We know right next to the door we have the, let me call them the missing pieces of wood, splinters.
That's correct, my lady.
And you say to this court, and it's right next to the door, that whole day you did not see them.
That's correct, my lady. I did not see those pieces of wood, otherwise I would have looked at them.
How did the door come to you on that day?
It didn't come to me, my lady. I was informed by Captain Mangena that he was busy with the investigation and that the door would be available to me in the basement where he was busy with the investigation, and I went down to see him. So the door didn't come to me.
When you arrived there, what did you do? Did you help to assemble the door?
As far as I can remember, the door was already in this position, my lady.
So they assembled the door for you?
I don't know who they were, but yeah, whoever.
You were not involved in that?
Not in this assembling, no, my lady.
And you just so happened not to see the wooden splinters there?
Yeah, well, that was an oversight of myself, my lady. As I said, if I look at the picture here, it seems like the plastic, or if it's a plastic, it was between the shelves, and I did not pay attention to that stuff because there were other stuff in the room as well, which I did not pay attention to.
We're talking specifically about a crucial piece of evidence, the door. So we're not talking about other stuff. We talk right next to the door, the pieces.
My lady, I can only comment I have about this. I did not mention, or I did not see the pieces there.
And when you went through your report, because that's part of your report, did you look at the photos?
I did look at the photos, but the important thing for me was the angle of the bat in this photograph, my lady.
I understand. Every time looking at the photos, you did not see the pieces of wood, splinters?
No, my lady.
You will agree by just looking at a photo, it's not difficult to see it.
Well, now it's it's obvious if you know it's there.
Yes. When did you go to the scene for the first time?
The first and only time I went to the scene, my lady, was on the 8th of March 2013, if I'm correct, and I will just confirm it in my affidavit. Yes, it was the 8th of March, my lady.
We'll come back to your evidence that you went back to the scene on the 8th, and also to some documents, a revisit of the scene. You say you weren't at the scene before the 8th of March?
No, my lady, the 8th
of
March of 2013.
13, I mean.
Yeah. That was the only time I visited the scene, my lady.
You were also asked, if I look at documents, to test any material on the door. Is that so?
Is that pertaining to the...
Just the door, yeah. For materials analysis. What does that mean, materials analysis?
Materials analysis is our section. I'm working in the materials analysis section.
Yes. On that door, and I'll ask you to go to the door. There is a microphone, and if you will, please, Colonel, if you speak, would you mind to speak in the direction of the ladyship?
I will do so.
And try, I'm sorry to ask you that, to speak up then a little bit. You see a mark, you see where the handle is, and when you go down there's a distinct mark. Yes, you're pointing to that distinct mark. Have you investigated that?
My lady, I did indeed look at that mark, but I could not find anything that convinced me that that mark was due to the cricket bat, and that the cricket bat actually caused that mark. And I've testified to this already in my...
You solely focused on a cricket bat?
The request at that stage was for me to focus on the cricket bat to determine whether any marks on the door could be linked back to the cricket bat, my lady.
Of course, on behalf of Mr. Pistorius, we will present evidence that that mark was caused by the prosthesis kicking that door or making contact with that door. And the fabric of the sock was in fact still embedded and found, and varnish of the door on the prosthesis.
On the prosthesis. As I said, my lady, I could not link it to the cricket bat, so that's why I only elaborated on the first 2 marks that we spoke about this morning.
Now, is it significant to you that there's a mark caused by the prosthesis, and we say to you, kicking on that door, kicking by Mr. Pistorius?
My lady, if that is indeed true, that it's a mark caused by the prosthesis, I guess it is significant, but it was not investigated by myself. We must also remember that the pieces of the panel were ripped out in the process of breaking open the door. So that mark on the panel could just as well have originated from him walking over that piece of panel when he was trying to get Ms. Riva Steenkamp out of the.
Do you seriously contend that mark can be caused by walking?
My lady, walking, it was kind of a deurmekaar situation in the bathroom there. I can imagine him trying to get Ms. Steenkamp out of the bathroom was not an easy job. And if he had his legs on, he could have fallen over the piece or whatever. And we are speculating now. So I'm just trying, by speculating, I'm just trying to show that the fact that Mr. Pistorius says he kicked the door is not the only possible reason for that mark appearing on the door.
I'm trying to understand. When I tell you that's the evidence on behalf of the defense, it is the fabric was tested, the wood was tested, the prosthesis was tested. They all match.
If that is the case, my lady, I can imagine that there were transfer of exhibits from the prosthesis onto the door at some stage. But when, I would not be able to say exactly when it happened.
And of course, it would not make sense, and I mean well when I put the question, to kick the plank when it's lying on the floor.
My lady, kicking, he could have stumbled over the plank. We must remember he testified, or in his version of the events, he picked Ms. Steenkamp up and he carried her down from the bathroom down to the foyer. So he could have stumbled over the plank. You can imagine, and again, this is speculation, but it's just to give some light on a possibility. The planks were laying, the pieces of wood were lying on the floor there in the bathroom, and him trying to pick up Ms. Steenkamp, he could have stumbled over it. So that's just another version. I don't say he didn't kick it, but what I'm saying is that the kicking is not the only possible source of that.
Let's look at stumbling. There's a plank on the floor, I stumble over it. I'm trying to understand how that stumbling over it could make an indentation in the wood, in Maranti. We'll bring a plank and we'll ask you to stumble 100 times over it, okay. And I will say there will be no mark.
Okay, and 100 times the indentation would be the same as that, because it's not actually indentation. I described it this morning as a seems like two pieces of whatever objects grabbed or were forced against each other, but it's not actually an indentation that similar to what the cricket bat would have caused.
Can I ask you a favor? Will you go and take a plank and stumble over it and bring it back and come back in evidence and show me a mark that can replicate that? Will you do it afterwards? And we can do it under controlled circumstances, because I tell you it cannot be.
Yeah. Well,
I see you laughing, and I think there's
when you kick that door, my lady, there's a certain amount of force applied to the door. When I carry someone and it's heavy and I stumble over and I kick the plank with my toe or the heel or whatever, stumbling over it, tripping over it, what do you want to call it? you can very easily get the same amount of force applied to the piece of wood than what the instance would have been.
But of course, if it was kicked in that position, it will tell you one thing. It's a process trying to open the door.
If that is the testimony, and if it can be proven that he was actually wearing his prosthesis and that he was kicking it, it's possible. What I think what also must be tested would be to see what the abilities is for Mr. Pistorius. I would not be able to testify on how he can lift his leg, the exact movements he can make with his legs. But I agree, if it can be proven that it was kicked and he can reach that high, it's fine.
What does it then mean in that case?
It means in that case, the only thing that I can deduct from that, and if it's proven that there's material similar to the prosthesis on the door there, to me it means there was contact between the prosthesis and the door or the plank, and some transfer took place. That is what it means to me. Because nowhere is there any evidence to me at this stage that can confirm that he actually kicked the door, except for his version of the...
I'm working on his version. I don't ask you to accept it unconditionally. But you would only kick the door when you want to break through the door. You want to get into the toilet. Otherwise, there's no need to kick it. Not so?
I guess so.
Yes.
But you will also only stumble over the door or the piece of wood if it lies on the floor.
Yes, we've dealt with the stumbling. Now, I'm trying to find out. The state had the prosthesis, the prosthetic legs. The state had the socks, the markers on the door. Was anyone asked to investigate that? And who would that have been?
My lady, as far as I'm concerned, no one was asked to investigate the possibility of the door being kicked down. I did receive the prosthetic legs at my section. I was asked to look at a mark on the shin of the one prosthetic leg to try and determine what the cause of that damage to the prosthetic leg was. I could not determine the cause of that, and I suspect that it was not a recent mark; it was an old mark. But nowhere, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, where anyone requested to do analysis to link the prosthetic legs with kicking down of the door.
I'm trying to understand the police and the investigation. You see marks on a door. Would someone not be asked from the forensics department to look at those marks and try and find if there can be given any explanation for them? I don't know, I just need to know how it works.
Are we talking about this specific mark?
Marks in general.
Marks in general.
Marks in general.
Yes.
Thank you, my lady.
My lady, usually the investigating officer or whoever is doing the crime scene investigation, the exhibit submitted to the laboratory would be to determine something. They must be able to prove something with a request to the laboratory, and it can very, very easily happen that there might be some oversight or whatever reason that the guy collected the evidence on the scene did not think about that, did not request the specific evidence, or it was not important for him. It was not important, and he didn't at that stage think that it would add value to the investigation. So that's a possibility. I don't say that it happened in this case. I see it. It's just a possibility on why things can be overlooked.
You see why I'm asking you that, Colonel? In the bail application, in an affidavit, Mr. Pistorius said inter alia the following in paragraph 1615. I put on my prosthetic legs, ran back to the bathroom, and tried to kick the toilet door open. Goes down, then on, when he couldn't come right, and he grabbed the cricket bat and bashed it open. So it's not that the police was unaware of this version.
My lady, I cannot comment on who was aware of that. I was not aware of that version of Mr. Pistorius.
Did you not at any time look at the bail affidavit to get an idea what the version of Mr. Pistorius would be?
My lady, I can say unequivocally, the first time I saw the version of Mr. Pistorius was sometime during last week up in the chambers here. That was the first time that I physically saw Mr. Pistorius' version. I was not privy to that information.
How did that happen, that you saw that version?
It was in general discussion there, and that file was there, and I said, oh, is this Mr. Pistorius' version, and I read through it.
I'm trying to understand that because it is important, because we have ballistic experts, we have a door with markings on. Anyone else from ballistics present? From the forensic department?
I cannot remember who was in the. It was during one lunchtime, I think, and I can't remember exactly who was present. People come in and go out. And
any name from the forensic department?
Well, Captain Mangena and Colonel van der Nest and myself, we were in and out and around each other past week.
I'm interested in the part that you were favoured, only then you say, with the version in the bail application. How did that come about?
Because as I said, I saw the file there with the version of the bail application, and that was the first time that I actually looked at it.
How did it happen that you saw the file? Was it just open at that place?
Yes, it was there on the desk, and I saw it there, my lady.
Was it open at a specific?
Obviously, it had to be open there. Yeah. I said obviously it had to be open if I saw it there, sir.
Yes, I understand that. Was it open at the version given by Mr. Pistorius, or did you have to page through it?
No, it was open at the version. I did not page through it. I just walked past it and it was there on the table. It was open. It wasn't.
You just happened to see it?
I just happened to see it.
And then what did you do with it? Did you read it?
I just scanned through it, and I didn't sit there and study the version exactly. Because my lady, you must also understand that the state is just as much, well, from my view, we are just as much in service of the accused as the defense is. Our objective, and my objective specifically, is to look at the situation and to be absolutely objective. I did not want to be, and I'm not. I'm happy that I didn't see the version of Mr. Pistorius, because I didn't want to have my view determined by some external factors. So my investigation is, in all the investigations I do, I try to be as objective as possible, look at the evidence to my disposal, and make scientific conclusions from that, without favoring one side or the other.
Precisely. Now, as ballistic forensic experts, you see this version, you know that there's some examination of marks on the door, there is this objectivity, and one thing you did not consider, and no one else there, was to say, well, if he said that he kicked the door and he had his legs on and we know it's a hard object, maybe let's look at the door and see if we can be objective and find evidence in favor of the accused to confirm his version. Did that go through your mind?
My lady, at that stage, my investigation was already completed several months ago. I did not, at this stage, reopen an investigation. I definitely did not do an investigation upstairs on new information to my disposal. I came to court to present what I did.
But why not, Colonel? You're objective. You see there's something. You think, well, we can look at it. It's not too late. We don't need months and months and weeks. Let us go back to the door and let's check, and maybe we can assist the accused and find something that would corroborate his version. Or is the approach rather, well, I've done my investigation and that's it?
My lady, I decided not to continue the investigation on that. And still to this date, I haven't read through the whole version of Mr. Pistorius. I just scanned the page or two that was on top there.
So you decided then not to
I decided
carry on the investigation?
that I'm not gonna bother with the version. It will be presented in court, and then the court can decide on further matters.
Understand, to use your words, I'm not going to bother with his version. That's what you say.
Because it would not change my investigation that I did 6 or 8 months ago, my lady.
Colonel, if you would be so kind, I've handed to you a copy of Colonel Lalonge's statement. If you can just hand it back to me. My lady, I can repeat, we will make that available to you. It's just not to waste time. I want to show you, lady, may I just for present purpose just delete the note, because we will show the court in the meantime, and I do not want, it's just Colonel, photo 11 in the same Colonel Lalonge's affidavit. Look at it carefully, and then I'm going to ask you to hand it to the court. We will also, my lady, see that photo will also be made available to you, which we will then mark as Exhibit BB. We will mark it accordingly. If I may just place it before you in a learned assessors, just to have some view of what I'm referring. Have you looked at it carefully?
Yeah, maybe you must just tell me what you're referring to, then I
The
know
foot marks.
The foot marks, okay.
You see them?
Yeah, I see them. It's actually shoe prints.
Shoe prints,
That's
like
correct.
police shoe prints. I saw somewhere at a port. It's consistent with police shoes.
It looks like like a police shoe print.
Yes. So we see police shoe prints. Looks like it, consistent with.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I don't know. I was not on the scene. I don't know when this picture. Well, I guess the picture was taken by Lieutenant Colonel Linong when he did his part of the investigation. But I would not be able to say how that shoe prints came.
And did you see the shoe prints?
No, I did not see. There was faint marks on the door on top at one stage, but not as clear as these ones.
So how did they disappear?
I don't know.
I have that back.
I need to know, what is that? I see what are those marks
It's
on?
consistent with police shoes. That's all he can say.
No. On what? What is the material?
My lady, I apologize. I will do that.
Yes.
That is on a panel of the door.
That's correct, my lady.
If you can show the court maybe more or less which panel it would be. Because you know the door. My apologies, my lady. I should.
It must have been in this region, my lady. If you see the region I indicated there, and it must have been there. If I look at the bullet holes, it must have been in that region there.
Yes. May I have another look again?
Could you just hand it back? Lady, may I follow up with a question to assist you whilst you're looking at it?
Yes.
I did not realize that you would come. Colonel, just to assist the court for no other reason, and it's something that you must have seen, it's just to assist the court. The panels were removed from the door and they were lying in the bathroom. You would have seen the photos.
On the photographs,
Yes.
they were lying in the bathroom, yes, my lady.
Yeah, we can go to it, but just to assist the court.
And this is only my collection from the photos. I was not on.
Of course. We'll get to that later.
Thank you very much.
If I may have that back, please. So that's why we say, and amongst other things, Colonel, that please do not understand this, that it is an acceptance by Mr. Pistorius, who said it's the fence, that you received the door and the bat in the position they were in on the 14th of February 2013.
My lady, no, I think I must admit, the door and the bat was not exactly in the same condition as it was collected, because it was already handled by several people, transported, whatever.
And the footprints again is just another
The
example.
footprints as well, my lady.
And there was, of course, someone wiping it off, not appreciating police boot footprints on the door. That's what it must be, not so.
That's possible, yes, my
Yes.
lady.
So that's why I asked you right in the beginning about the preservation of the exhibits to see when you became involved. And we're trying to understand what happened between the 14th and the time that you had access to the door.
My lady,
And
I
the
would not be able to comment on that, on the exact exposures the door had, and so I would not be able to comment on that.
Do you, and I know you're not able to comment, but maybe we'll come back to you. Do you know if the door was handed in a place of safekeeping in a safe, or whether it was kept in the offices of Colonel van Rensburg after the...
No, I also don't know about that. I don't know what happened after it was collected from the scene, my lady.
When you received the door, saw it for the first time, in what condition was it?
My lady, as I said, I never received it, but the first time I had access to the door was on the 8th of March, when we attended the scene again, together with some other colleagues. And at that stage, the door was brought up into the bathroom in a body bag, and the panels were loose, which is actually the case if you take out that little strip in the bottom and take out the piece in the back that I installed there just to keep the panels in place. The panels are loose. At least the two pieces on the right hand side, and if I can just show you here, these are the two pieces on the right hand side I'm referring to. This piece is still intact and part of the door. Those were loose, and we, in the process of installing the door, we used some press stick to keep the panels in.
Was that now on the 30th?
No, that was on the 8th of March.
Now, let me ask you about the 8th of March. So it was in what type of bag was it?
It was in a body bag.
Not in bubble wrap?
No, not that I can remember of.
And who was with you when you saw the door in that bag, before you took it out?
As I said in my testimony in chief, Captain Mangena brought the door to the scene that morning on the 8th of March, my lady.
And if you could take me through that process now. It's the bag. Who opened the bag?
It was definitely not me. I did not open the bag. The bathroom was quite crowded, my lady. The defense experts were there as well. I cannot exactly remember who took it out of the bag. I assisted with putting in the screws to get the door attached to the door frame. That I can remember. But for the rest, I wouldn't be able to say Mr. Wolmerans or Chris Mangena or whoever did the initial parts.
So you assisted in assembling the door?
I assisted in putting up the door on the door frame, and then I was present when the panels were installed in the door frame.
By using press stick, I think.
By using press stick, my lady.
Was the door then complete?
It was pretty much in the same condition as what it is now, my lady.
But we know now that we see in Colonel Lenong's statement the little pieces. We know on the 30th, we see on your photo when you were there the little pieces. So would it be fair to say that the little pieces must have been there?
My lady, there's pictures taken of that door after we assembled it, and maybe we can just get those pictures of the scene when we investigated there at the house on the screen, and then you will be able to see what the door looked like when I in the bathroom after we assembled it with a press stick.
Of course, we will look at that and ask the assistance of the police to get us that photo. What I'm interested in, there's now a bag, and we know in Colonel Lenong's photos there's a bag with, including the splinters, the little pieces, and we know when the door was assembled on the 30th, we see the little pieces. So what I ask from you is, there in the bathroom at the scene, when that door was assembled, did you or did you not see the little pieces?
My lady, maybe I can just indicate on the door again. One of the pieces, this little piece here, right in the right-hand corner. That little piece was there on the scene, and that was part of the reassembling of the door. That I can remember, yes.
I'm talking about the other pieces that would make the door complete, as we saw on the photo. When you, on the 30th of April, when you were there, when they were lying next to the door to the left, and as we've seen it in Colonel Lenong's statement, the photo statement.
Maybe
I need to know about those
just look at the pictures on the scene, and then everyone's minds will be reminded of it.
In the meantime, whilst he's looking up, so sorry to interfere with him, if you can just in the meantime show us photo 182. A lady, and for the court's benefit, to put this in position, he spoke about a plank lying in the bathroom removed from the door on the floor. That's what it will show. And then I will ask questions about that. 182. Can you identify, look at it carefully, Colonel, and then assist the court, please, to say which part of the door would that be by pointing at the assembled door in court?
My lady, if I'm correct, it's the part furthest to the right.
If you would not
and
mind.
I will point it out to you as well. This part of the panel.
Can you just look carefully and identify it with reference to the bullet hole and go back maybe to the door, and you will see where the door handle would have been.
This bullet hole and the part of the one the furthest to the right is visible on the photograph there, ma'am.
I'm so sorry to do this to you, Colonel, but if you, when you move away, can you speak up a little bit?
Okay. Can I point to the screen, and it's probably
Yes, of course.
Probably better. There's two bullet holes, one complete bullet hole and one to the right of it, which is actually for only half a bullet hole. And that is, if I can
you could
point
go
it
there
out.
then to assist the court.
This is the complete bullet hole, and that one would be the one on the picture, which is only.
And it goes then up the plank.
Say again, sir?
It goes up. It shows more of the plank going up, higher than the handle.
Yeah.
Yes. I apologize for doing it to you. Can you go to where the handle is and point? And I think the court is at a disadvantage, maybe to see the marks. Could you point the obvious marks on the door? My lady, I'm not sure if you're standing in the way.
Yes.
Could you maybe stand on the other side? My lady, I'm not sure that you can see from that distance.
I can see
proof.
that.
Thank you, my lady. You see them?
I see them.
Please show them to me on this plank.
They're not on this plank, my lady.
But they're quite drastic marks, so to speak.
It's quite significant.
Invasive.
Yes. It's quite significant, yes, my lady.
Were they there when you saw the door assembled and helped to assemble them? I think it's on the 8th of March 2013.
If we can just have that photographs on the door, I will be able to say whether it was there or not, my lady.
To assist the members of the police dealing with the photographs, which photographs do you refer to?
The photographs taken on the 8th of March in the bathroom where everyone was
Of the
present.
door?
Yes. And that is the picture I'm looking at, my lady. On this photograph, it doesn't seem like those marks are present on the door.
Do you see there? Let's see what we see. Do you see the shoe print mark still? You see some on the left?
There's a faint shoe print mark. It's not as visible as the ones that
Oh, it's maybe the distance.
we see, but I can see them there. Yes.
Did you find those cruft marks that I've just asked you about?
No, my lady. Those distinct marks is not present on the door, which we see there in the photograph.
Now, I'm trying to find out who had possession of the door between the 8th of March, that we see that door without those marks, and the 30th of April.
My lady, I left the scene before the door was taken down, so I'm not exactly sure who took the door down on the scene on the 8th of March and who took possession of it. I saw the door with Mr. Mangena on the the 30th of April again, and so I don't know who had it from the time it was taken down in the bathroom until the 30th of April. But I suspect it was Captain Mangena.
Meaning, was the door then in possession of the forensics department, whichever branch?
If it was with Mr. Mangena, obviously it would have been in the Forensic Science Laboratory's possession.
And how does it work there with the retention of the safekeeping of exhibits? What is the process?
My lady, every analyst is responsible for the safekeeping of exhibits if it's in his or her possession. The exhibits must be under lock and key, so no one can have access to the exhibits and tamper with the exhibits and alter exhibits or whatever. A big exhibit like this is obviously going to be locked not in a normal gun safe, but probably in a room with controlled access or whatever.
But it would be controlled access.
There would be controlled access, either single key bearer or a biometric scanner on a door lock, but there will be controlled access, my lady.
But it tells me then this, that whilst the door was in the safekeeping of the forensic department, it somehow happened to get serious marks on it, which did not exist on the 8th of March 2013.
From this, it appears like that something happened to the door after the 8th of March, which I would not be able to comment about, my lady.
How does it work? And I'll take you to photo 175 later on. How does it work when you're at the scene and you see an exhibit? How does the collection work of that exhibit and the preservation?
My lady, that's a very wide question, but in general, certainly in my instance, if I'm in control of the crime scene and there's exhibits that need to be collected, obviously they will be photographed in situ, etc., etc. And to cut a long story short, it will be sealed in a evidence sealing bag if we have access to a large enough. In this case, it would have been difficult to put it in an evidence sealing bag, but there's other ways to seal it. And then it would be recorded. The numbers of the evidence sealing bags is recorded in order to prove chain of custody.
You see there's, for instance, now photo 175. What is it that you see there?
My lady, in this photograph, it's the entrance to the bathroom of Mr. Pistorius. And in this photograph, in the center of the photograph, I see a piece of wood, which I would say is the little piece on the furthest to the right in the door, and then some other small pieces, and then I see against the bathroom, against the wall of the bathtub, there's a plank there, and it's I suspect that it's the middle part of the panel that we see there. Obviously, there's a 9mm cartridge there that I see on the left against the wall. There's some, it looks like towels or something that's full of blood. There's a, it looks like a vanity case or a vanity bag, and some blood spatten or blood marks on the floor, my lady. Is there anything specific that you refer to, sir?
I've looked at the standing orders of the police in relation to crime scenes, so to speak, and in relation to an inventory. Can you assist us there? How does it work with the inventory?
Is it the inventory on the crime scene? Obviously,
of the exhibits collected.
The exhibits collected must be recorded so that one knows what is collected from the scene, what was found on the scene, what was marked out on the scene, and obviously the person collecting it will have a specific reason why he collected those specific evidence.
Because we tried to get a copy of that inventory. Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it, my lady.
Have you ever asked for it?
No, I did not ask for it. It was not relevant to my investigation.
Well, I think it was to some extent relevant to see what exhibits were on the scene and how it would relate to the door in that respect.
Well, maybe you can pull it through or argue that, my lady, but for the purpose of my investigation, trying to look at the marks on the door, see whether the cricket bat could have caused the marks on the door. In that respect, I did not require the complete inventory of what was collected on the scene.
For me to understand, Colonel, I tell you why I put it in this way. When you said that you wanted to look at some of the photos, that would be the photos of the 8th of March.
Yes, my lady.
And what I'm trying to avoid is to, on screen, go through photos, and some of them would not be necessary to show them in open court. Would it be possible, I see it's close to the adjournment time, that during the break that you go through those photos, that you can bring it to my attention tomorrow morning, which photos are those that you believe can assist you in the answers and in the questions asked by me?
Which questions? The questions that we've already dealt with.
That's right, on where you say that you wanted to see those photos. All I'm asking is it possible for you after the adjournment to look at these photos, that we don't have to run through all the photos on the screen and maybe look at photos not necessary for present purposes?
I will do so, my lady.
Yeah. And let me ask you this before we adjourn. Your experience in door marks on wood, on doors, and the cases that you've done, and could you bring that with please tomorrow? Because I know in forensics that you have files and you keep the files so that we can look at that.
My lady, maybe I can, just to clarify that point, say that there is no specific training file for comparing cricket bat marks on a wooden door. So it's not. I think it's in that instance. There's not going to be a document like that, and the investigation of this door must be seen in the light of us doing a variety of different investigations in the section where I'm working, and it's not a routine type of investigation. So sometimes one needs to apply your scientific background, your scientific knowledge to the exhibits, and come to a conclusion with that in mind. So I can assure you there's no specific document that will give anyone information on the investigation of cricket bat marks on the door.
I understand that, but I've already asked you, and you answered the question whether you were or were at the time a certified tool mark expert. You remember that? Examiner.
That's correct, my lady, and I will repeat it again, that I am not a certified tool mark examiner, but the principles which I use to do the investigation of in this instance is very similar to what you get with shoe print and physical matches. And with that, I've done proficiency tests, international proficiency tests, and proven myself proficient in that.
And what I actually wanted from you, Colonel, is factual data on cases that you've done on marks on doors, on wood. If you could bring that we can look at it. If you have done none, then you can tell us. If you have done some, then you can bring it.
I'll have to go through my records in the laboratory to see exactly what investigations was.
As you stand there, can you remember anyone? Any such case?
There are some cases, maybe not doors like this, but on other objects that I investigated, my lady, but not on a wooden door. But the material itself is not as important as the principles that was applied to do the investigation.
And will I be correct to say that during this time that at the forensics department there were in fact a number of people qualified as certified tool mark examiners?
That's correct, my lady.
Colonel Mota, he was on the scene that day, on the 14th of February 2000.
Well, I wasn't there. I can't vouch for that, my lady.
Would you know if he is a certified tool mark examiner?
My lady, I'm not aware of his qualifications and how far his training goes.
He's from the forensic department. He's from ballistics.
He's from the ballistics section. It's one of the colleagues in the laboratory which I actually never dealt with in the past. So I'm not in a position to speak on his competencies and his level of training, my lady.
I tell you why I ask you, because I saw that he was also at the post-mortem. So he was quite involved in the beginning. Yet I do not see any report by him.
I don't know what the reason for that is, my lady. As I said, the ballistic section and scientific analysis section are two separate sections in the building. In some cases we might work together, but Mr. Mota, it's one of the colleagues that I've never worked with in the past. And I also don't know what his involvement in this case would have been.
Lady, would it be an opportune time?
Malady, perhaps before we adjourn, I'm confused about what was asked of this witness as far as photographs are concerned. I don't want the witness to be criticised tomorrow. What photographs should he access and how, Malady? You cannot access photographs without dealing with his colleagues. So I'm uncertain. If I could understand it, I'll facilitate. But I don't know what photographs you should access before tomorrow.
My lady, the witness made reference to photos on the 8th of March when he was at the scene. We do not want any facilitation by the state. You can sit with the person with the photos. Just go, from Mr. van Staden, just go through the photos, because my impression is that it might assist him going through the photos, seeing something more about the door or not. Maybe there's nothing in, maybe there is something in. It's just that to go through the photos of the 8th of March 2013, where he was present when the door was assembled.
I understand that, Marie.
Thank you.
My lady, if I can just mention something, during the lunch break, the defense requested my case files or my files from the laboratory. Can I just request to have them back? I will make it available to them again tomorrow morning. It was not submitted as evidence.
There's a request.
We've received it. We haven't had time. They're very scant, if I may. So we quickly sit with the witness and just look at some of the things and leave it with him in safe custody, and maybe then we can look at it tomorrow again.
Oh, okay.
But we'll spend some time today with him after the adjournment.
Thank you.
Just
We'll
to
resume.
identify the files.
Thank you very much. We'll resume tomorrow morning at 9:30. Court will adjourn.